Hello and welcome to another episode of Light Talk, where we discuss trends in the optics industry with some of the best in the business. I'm your host, Scott Bass with Edmund Optics, here to moderate today's discussion. Now, over the past year and a half, we've seen a huge explosion of virtual events to fill in the gaps of face-to-face opportunities to deliver content. And it's been quite the mix of quality and not so quality as we've all experienced. So today, that's what we're going to focus on, virtual events dominating the industry. So for today's discussion, I'm very excited. I brought in two of my favorite people who happen to be heavily involved in Edmund Optics Innovation Summits, which are virtual events we host that are all about sharing technical content. So first we have Natalie Garvey, Marketing Manager at Edmund Optics, who is responsible for all of our events, both in person and now virtual. Hello, Natalie. How are you today?
Hi, Scott. Good, thanks.
Good. And then we have Cotten-Martin, Vision Solutions Engineer, also at Edmund Optics, who is one of our imaging experts who both develops and delivers unique imaging content through our virtual summits. Hi, Jay. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Great. Okay. So Natalie, let's start with you. I've seen many teams across our organization come together to deliver content in the form of virtual summits. We've now held 5 innovation summits, not to mention countless webinars in between. So tell us how this all came about.
Yeah, so, we've been doing webinars for a few years. They're typically less than 45-minute events. The innovation summits, which we've been running as half-day events, they really were born out of the COVID-19 pandemic. People were home, healthcare, innovation, technology was really at the forefront of so many conversations. It was on the news. We just saw an opportunity to share our technical content in a new way with our customers. The innovation summits allow us to go in depth on topics in a way that we can't anywhere else, right? We can't go as in depth at in-person trade shows or white papers, whatever the medium is. But, for example, we have an event coming up in December. One of our engineers, Nick Sishka, is taking attendees into the imaging lab where Jay is right now. And he's able to spend 30 to 40 minutes deep diving a real world application without requiring anybody to travel. So it really just has opened up the ways in which we can deliver content and, more importantly, the type of content we're able to share.
Interesting. So what have you observed and learned after doing this for almost 2 years?
The biggest thing is people or companies trying to use virtual events as a direct replacement for an in-person event or an in-person trade show. We've never looked at them that way. As I mentioned, it's really just something else entirely for us. And it's a new and separate vehicle for us to deliver our technical expertise, which we're known for, in a more thorough way. We definitely don't have plans to stop once in-person events return full force, because we see value in providing our attendees this type of content this way. All of our post-event surveys have been really positive. Registration numbers continue to grow. So it's really just been great. There's been so many recent advancements in the type of technology that we can use, right, to video chat or, whatever it is. And so we can create a unique and a customizable environment for people to come and feel like it really is an event, right? They're showing up to somewhere. And so I guess just as a word of advice, steer clear of events using outdated platforms with back-to-back PowerPoint slides. And we're doing something entirely different. Events like those are what turn people off from virtual learning. We've just learned to embrace this format in a way that's just been really beneficial for us, I think, as a new avenue to demonstrate our technical knowledge, and then as a way for our attendees to consume it. So, yeah.
You make a great point, because unfortunately, I feel like, we are at the point where there are now junk events to go with all of our junk mails and calls, lots of junk to sift through. But I agree with you. It's all about looking for those events that have some unique elements to them, using modern technology, like you said. So thank you for that. Now over to you, Jay. So these are called innovation summits for a reason, at least I hope. From your perspective, how do these summits help spur innovation?
Yeah, so I think Natalie really touched on it. Innovation is spurred on by the exchange of ideas. So Edmund Optics, we see ourselves, and I'm sure many people see us this way as well, as leaders in the industry in technical expertise, in application experience. And we really want to share that with our customer base. Not just our customer base though, but everyone in the industry, right? We want to make people more knowledgeable about what they're looking for in certain applications, whether that be what lens do you need here? What lights do you need here? How do you solve the problem from really a top level down approach? Because a lot of people do tend to struggle with that, right? So we take all of these summits as an opportunity to educate people.
Good. And Jay, I understand we have an upcoming one. Tell me about this specific event.
So I'm in the lab right now. We've been preparing, setting up demos. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. It always is. And this time around, we're going a little deeper. So a few of the topics we're discussing are going to be telecentricity, right? A standard lens versus a telecentric lens, when you want to use one versus the other, and how those optically operate differently. Another thing is color. Now, we've discussed color before, but it's usually been, aberrations with color and things like this. This is more so how to optimize your system with color, right? Whether that be filters, different choices in lighting, even the difference between using a monochrome versus color camera. These things are all super important to successfully, completing a project, solving an application. And then on top of that, distortion, right? Distortion is really big and it's kind of confusing. There's a bunch of different types of distortion, whether it be barrel, pin cushion, keystone, right? So we're going to go through all of these things, showing different examples and how sort of you can get around these issues just based on a lens selection here or a light here. So it's going to be really fun. We have different types of demos this time around too, more dynamic, moving parts. It should be really fun for everyone involved. So I'm very excited. So it should be a great time.
Great. Sounds great. Thank you, Jay. And thank you, Natalie. It's obvious we've made many investments at Edmund Optics in producing quality virtual events. And you just heard Jay say it. We have an upcoming innovation summit. So you can experience it yourself. It's all about defining the future of imaging, as Jay just kind of went through the details. So join us on December 14th live. We are offering 2 time slots for your convenience. I suggest at the very least just registering right now while it's fresh in your head, just to secure your spot so you don't forget, and then you'll have access to the content even if you aren't able to attend live. And this is not about me shamelessly plugging our event, I promise. It's actually 100% free. Again, we just truly believe it's in all of our best interests to share knowledge in any way possible. So Natalie and Jay, thanks again. Are you both excited for this next summit?
I'm super excited. Super excited. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. So thanks again, everyone. And we'll see you during our next episode of Light Talk.
Thanks.
Bye.